I'm having breakfast with Mary Lee. Yo-do-do-do-dee. I'm having breakfast with Mary Lee.
Whew, it is colder out there than a penguin's armpits. Welcome to the Breakfast with Mary Lee podcast. Doggone, you know it's cold when your frosted flakes have real frost on them. Be careful this week with the temperatures. Please take care of outdoor pets, bring them inside, and take care of yourself, too. On this episode, we're going to celebrate George Washington's 293rd birthday, a big celebration being hosted by the French and Indian War Foundation. My special guest, local historian and French and Indian War Foundation board member Scott Straub, who actually met Lord Fairfax, well, a descendant thereof. He'll be along shortly. Right now, your brainbuster. Americans spend more than $700 million a year on this. More than $700 million a year on what? Is it A, birdseed, B, golf balls, or C, books? The answer revealed at the end of the show. Before we go to Scott, just a few things to talk about. A dear personal friend, a friend of this podcast, and a friend to thousands of people. I was just talking about him on my Christmas show. Steve Foster passed away over the weekend. He and his amazing mule, Grace, were able to make their annual Christmas night trek to the regional jail to spread joy and the good word. Steve and Grace have impacted so many lives. Our prayers and good thoughts with Pam, his family, followers, and good friends. And back to the cold weather. Again, please make sure your outdoor pets are inside and protect yourself. I mean, with the temperatures this week, ladies, it's a good idea to wear your long johns, even if they don't match your dress. And listen, we're all in the same boat. We're all going to have crooked hair this week. You know, crooked hair, what your hair looks like when you pull that winter cap off. But stay warm. A look at our podcast planner, nationaldaycalendar.com. Monday, March the 20th, it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Clergyman, activist, civil rights movement leader, one of my favorite American heroes. And Monday the 20th is National Disc Jockey Day. A salute to radio announcers everywhere, and I give thanks for doing what I love to do from 1977 to 2021. Tuesday the 21st is National Hugging Day. Hugging, it's just good for us, mentally and physically. The 21st is also Squirrel Appreciation Day. 3 types of squirrels: the ground, tree, and flying squirrels. On Wednesday, the 22nd, it's Library Shelfie Day. To all the book lovers out there, work on getting your books arranged on your shelf. You can arrange them by size, color, be creative. The 22nd is also National Polka Dot Day. Thursday, the 23rd, National Handwriting Day. Lots of benefits to writing our thoughts longhand. They say we learn more when we write out our notes and thoughts. And I don't know how true it is, but it seems like across the nation, the story pops up from time to time that schools are going to quit teaching cursive writing. But then what do we do about signatures? The 23rd is also National Pie Day. Friday the 24th, it's Peanut Butter Day. Early peanut butter was made by the Aztecs and the Incas around 1000 BC. And without food blenders, I'm sure it was all the chunky variety. The 24th is also National Compliment Day. Wasn't Mark Twain that said, "I can live for 2 months on a good compliment"? But a compliment does give confidence and validation and changes the mood of people. On Saturday, the 25th, it's National Opposite Day, so have a lot of fun with it. Maybe have dinner for breakfast or vice versa. On Sunday, the 26th, we already had Peanut Butter Day this week. It's Peanut Brittle Day. It's also National Spouses Day. Now, National Spouses Day, it's not about giving gifts. It's about spending time together. Spending time together, doing simple things, like watching playoff football. Just saying. Alrighty, you have a special invitation to a very historic birthday party. Well, we're approaching the birthday of George Washington, his 293rd to be exact, and the French and Indian War Foundation is hosting a big celebration Monday, February the 17th at Winchester Brew Works. There's going to be a special presentation about Lord Fairfax, but here to tell us all about it, please welcome Scott Straub, who is a board member. And speaking of that special presentation of Lord Fairfax, did I hear correctly that you met Lord Fairfax?
Well, I didn't meet Thomas Lord Fairfax, who was the 6th Baron of Cameron back in the 1700s. I met Nicholas Lord Fairfax, the 14th Baron of Cameron, who is currently serving in England. Nicholas, the current Lord Fairfax, was in the United States this past year visiting Roger Fairfax Sr. in Cleveland, Ohio. Now, as I understand it, Roger Fairfax Sr. is descended of the slaves of Lord Fairfax from the 17th century. Somehow, he and Nicholas Lord Fairfax had struck up a friendship on the internet through email, and they were corresponding with each other, and they wanted to meet. And what an interesting story as far as history goes, that descendants of the people from the 1700s are arranging to meet today and keeping in touch like this. You know, from a historical point of view, it's interesting. Now, Roger Sr. has 2 sons, as I understand it. Roger Jr. is a professor at a university, and his other son is Justin Fairfax. You may know him as our former lieutenant governor here in the state of Virginia when Northam was governor. So, small world. Nicholas Lord Fairfax was traveling from Cleveland to Washington, D.C. to give a speech, and he stopped in Winchester for a couple of days. And the couple that had hosted him back in, I think it was 2007, when he attended the Apple Blossom Parade here in Winchester, Linda Ross and Tommy Gibbs, arranged a dinner at the George Washington Hotel and invited some people, and I was one of the lucky people that got invited. You know, having drinks and dinner with Lord Fairfax, which I thought would be kind of cool. I'm thinking I need to do a little homework because I guess I'm going to be making some conversation here. I went on the internet, read an interview that he did several years ago over in England, and somebody had asked him about the Fairfax family ownership of what they call the Northern Neck Proprietary here in Virginia. And it was 5,282,000 acres owned by Thomas Lord Fairfax in the 1700s. All the land between the Potomac River and the Rappahannock River and all the way out to Thomas, West Virginia. And Nicholas's response, tongue-in-cheek, was it was his life's goal to one day reclaim the Northern Neck Proprietary. And I said, well, why don't we help him out with that? You know, let's give him a bag of dirt. So I thought I would pursue that, you know, based on that response. Went out to Walmart, went to the kids section with my grandsons, and I picked up one of those beach buckets with the plastic shovels. Yeah. And I went out and I took some dirt from my front yard and put it in a little plastic Ziploc bag. And I printed some labels that said the official Lord Fairfax Northern Neck Proprietary Reclamation Starter Kit. And I printed out a copy of the Jefferson Fry map from 1700s on cardstock. And I brought that with me to dinner. And during dinner, I presented that to him. I said, I heard it was your ambition to reclaim the Northern Neck Proprietary, all 5 million acres. I said, you know, you're not getting any younger. I thought I'd get you started here. Here's a shovel, here's some dirt, and here's a map so you can check off your progress as you go along. And he about spit his drink out laughing. Now, I didn't know if the joke would go over well, so I did bring along a nice bottle of Lusty Claw Kentucky bourbon. It's in a very ornate bottle with a nice medallion on the front of it and an eagle head cork top. So I gave him that as well. But he appreciated the humor. And the next day when he was giving a talk here in Winchester, I saw him again, and he came up to me and he's smiling and laughing. He said he'd called home and shared the joke with his brothers. They loved it. I had met his brothers Hugh and Rupert years ago when they were visiting, researching a book. But when he got home to England, he sent me an email. He said the items I gave him were sitting on his desk. He was going to have them framed. And then about 3 weeks later, he sent me a picture. He had shadow boxed the items and said they were hanging on the smallest room in his house. And I could only assume that to be the bathroom. If you had told me 30 years ago, Barry, that I was going to scoop some dirt from my front yard and go out and buy a cheap plastic shovel from Walmart and give it to a guy in the House of Lords in England, he was going to shadow box it and put it on his wall, I never would have believed you, but it does happen.
Well, I love the humor, the shovel, the dirt, and obviously it was appreciated, the fact that it's hanging on a special wall in England. But let's get to George Washington's 293rd birthday celebration that's being hosted by the French and Indian War Foundation. Tell us what's going to be going on the 17th.
Well, every year the French and Indian War Foundation has tried to have a George Washington birthday celebration. And traditionally, it's been done at the George Washington Hotel. It's been at the bar with wine, mixed drinks, and some charcuterie being served. But when it was turned over to me, I thought I would take it in a different direction starting in 2022. And we went over to the Winchester Brew Works and asked the ladies there, Holly and Bonnie, if they would brew us a special beer and let us call it Fort Loudon Lager. They were very accommodating. Word got out we were going to be serving pizza and beer, and it turned out to be very well attended. We wanted to have something special, a memento for our guests to take with them. The first year we were able to get glass tankards, so we started off with that with the image of Fort Loudon, and thereafter we've been able to secure the stainless steel cups, which we have a series of, and each year we put a different person's face on the cups, and we're featuring Lord Fairfax on the cup. So we thought we'd give a presentation on him. But we didn't want it to be, boring and dry. We took note of the fact that the man has been buried 4 times. And I got to talking with Jim Moyer about this, and we spent the better part of this past year researching all the details about the 4 times that he was buried. And there's a lot of story there, Barry. We dug into everything. We went into the archives at Hanley. We went into newspaper archives, the Winchester Star and other publications. We went into the vestry minutes of Christ Episcopal Church, which had a lot of information. And what I can tell you is this is the first time the information has ever been presented in its aggregate. All the research has been pulled together, and we have current information to blend in with the research from yesteryear. He has been buried 4 times. He's been dead for 243 years, but he's been out of the ground and traveled around town. We'll tell you when he got exhumed. You'll find out where he was buried and where the bones were kept when he wasn't in the ground. You'll find out who was digging them up and why. You'll discover a surprise find that occurred during the last exhumation. And you'll see a video, a happenstance video, with a 90-year-old Mason who recalls an interesting story that he heard firsthand about the bones of Lord Fairfax. You're going to want to see that. And we have video evidence that correlates the location of his crypt from 1926 in the basement with a picture postcard from that area that's long been forgotten, but it becomes obvious when you know where to look. So we have a lot of details in this presentation. We got pictures, we got video. And lastly, there's a curious coincidence that may very well show that the mark of Lord Fairfax was made on Winchester after he died. So you'll have to come to the Brewworks on President's Day, February 17th. 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. is the event, and all will be revealed.
And all for the incredible price of $25.
For $25, you get 2 slices of pizza, 2 pints of beer, and you get to keep the stainless steel cup.
You can't beat it. And there's only 100 tickets being sold, and man, those are selling fast. How do we get them?
Well, you can go to www.FIWF, stands for French Indian War Foundation, FIWF.org. And the drop-down menu on the left will take you to our gift shop, and the second item in is the tickets for sale. I think at the time that we're speaking right now, there may be about 39 left. Let me also add that the event, even if we sell out of the tickets for the pizza and the beer and the cup, the event is open to the public. So you can just show up. And they do sell soft drinks at the bar. If you want to, buy your own drinks, that's fine. You don't have to necessarily purchase the ticket to attend the event. It is open to the public. The only thing I can think of to add to that is for seating purposes, if people in excess of 100 show up, you might want to put a camping chair in your car just so you could have some place to, park yourself.
All right, get it on the calendar. George is waiting to celebrate with us the 293rd birthday celebration on February the 17th. French and Indian War Foundation board member Scott Straub, thank you for setting it all up for us, and looking forward to seeing you, hearing you, and celebrating George's birthday.
Thank you, Barry.
Hey, if you got a powdered wig, you can wear that to the party. Let's see how you did on the Brainbuster. The question was, Americans spend more than $700 million a year on this. More than $700 million a year on what? Is it A, birdseed, B, golf balls, or C, books? And the answer is B, golf balls. I love getting together with you every week, and please invite others to join us. The simple way, just to go online to breakfastwithbarrylee.com. Be careful, hang in there with this frigid weather, and if I may close with just a reminder, to keep your nasal passages from freezing and bursting tonight, leave one dripping. Have a blessed week.